He promised nothing, but threw himself over her when the bomb fell. Sci-Fi HFY love story. The air reeked of ozone and death. Sergeant Reichard Hale crawled through a ravaged trench soaked in black mud, his left boot gone, blood caking his shin. Smoke curled like broken glass over the shattered field. Every breath tasted of iron and scorched concrete. Artillery lit the horizon in slow flashes, like some cruel heartbeat. Somewhere behind him, his unit was either dead or retreating. He wasn't sure which and didn't have time to care. He wasn't supposed to be this far forward. His mission was recon, observe, don't engage. And then she dropped from the sky. The sniper, the blue-skinned phantom, the human brass called Ash, Veil, a myth they whispered about over rations, claiming she moved like smoke, shot without sound, and left entire squads dead without ever being seen. She wasn't supposed to be real. But there she was, crumpled against a fractured pillar 30 meters ahead, clutching her side, her long white hair glowing faintly under the twilight. Her breathing was shallow. Her weapon, a curved rifle, unlike anything in human arsenal, lay just beyond her reach. Reichard's first instinct was simple. Shoot. His second? Don't. She was bleeding and terrified. Her eyes locked with his, silver irises with diamond pupils. And something in his gut turned. Not fear, not even hatred. Something else, some strange hollow ache that whispered, "This is not what I came here to do." His rifle was up. Her hand twitched toward hers. A standoff. But neither of them moved. Another shell hit nearby. Dust rained down. She flinched. He didn't. "I'm not here to finish you," Reichard muttered. Not sure why he even spoke. "But if you reach for that rifle again, I will." The alien woman didn't answer in words. She just slumped against the stone and closed her eyes, chest rising shallowly. The blood on her side was spreading fast, soaking through that sleek, dark armor of hers. He could see the edges of shrapnel embedded just under her ribs. Lethal if untreated. Maybe minutes left. Reichard cursed under his breath. He could leave her. He should leave her. Instead, he dragged himself forward, every limb screaming in protest. His hand never left his weapon as he inched closer. At 10 feet, she opened her eyes again. This time, not hostile, just confused. He reached into his kit, pulled out a field seal. "Hold still." "No." Her voice was rough silk, rasped, accented, strange. "You'll die if I don't," he said. She closed her eyes again. "Then let me." "You're not worth that much to me, sweetheart," he muttered. "I just don't like dying things staring at me." That made her blink, almost offended. "Fine," she said flatly, "but touch me wrong. I'll rip your throat out with the bones in my hand." "Noted," Reichard said, leaning in. Her armor was unlike anything he'd seen. Organic almost, flexible like muscle, hard like steel. He found the seam near the wound, peeled it back. Her skin beneath was almost pearlescent. Blood trickled in silver rivulets. She didn't scream, didn't flinch, but her breath hitched when he pressed the sealant foam into place. "You humans have strange rituals," she said. "We call it first aid." "First aid," she echoed, watching the foam harden, pulse briefly with coagulant light. "You offer help to enemies? Only the pretty ones." Her glowing hair shifted color, faint lavender now. A reaction? Some chemical response. "Are all your jokes this terrible?" she asked. "Why?" he gasped. "Why the hell would you?" "Because you helped me," she whispered, her face inches from his. "Because I owe you, and because—" She hesitated. His eyes flicked to hers. "What?" Her voice was a breath now. "Because you said you weren't here to finish me." She smiled faintly. "I believed you." His hand lifted weakly, touched her cheek. And just as the world went black again, she said something else, soft in her language. He didn't understand the words, but he understood the tone. It was a vow, a sacred one. He should have asked what it meant. Instead, he passed out with her glowing hair wrapped around him like light. The light stung. When Reichard's eyes opened again, They burned, too bright, too clean. His mind lagged behind the pain, the antiseptic smell, the muffled hum of machines breathing for him. He was alive somehow. His first instinct was to reach for his side, and pain fired across his ribs like shrapnel all over again. He was strapped to a stretcher, clean bandages, human gear. He wasn't on the battlefield anymore. Then he heard her voice, low, urgent, arguing. Not your concern. He was mine to save. Ilara, someone snapped. You speak of a human, a soldier of the species responsible for the scorching of the iron fields. He saved my life. I return the debt. Do not insult our customs. You know what you invoked. That vow was not a debt, it was a binding. Rykard's breath caught. What vow? Footsteps approached. He turned his head and saw her. Ilara, the alien sniper who wasn't supposed to exist. The one with glowing hair and war-killer eyes. Her armor was gone, replaced with a sheer silver uniform that clung to her like silk. Her ribs were bandaged. A jagged scar ran up her temple. Her hair, blue as electric fire, dimmed the moment her gaze landed on him. You're awake, she said, stopping at his bedside. Her voice was softer now, uneven. He struggled to speak. His throat was raw. Where? Neutral med station, she said. Your beacon pinged during the last barrage. My people intercepted it. You dragged me here? I carried you 3 kilometers, bleeding, crying, muttering about goats. He blinked. Goats? She tilted her head. You kept saying, I don't even like goats. I assumed it was a human prayer. Despite the pounding in his head, he laughed. Once it hurt like hell. Ilara knelt beside the bed. The healers stabilized you. They were not happy about it. I figured. She hesitated. Do you remember what you said right before the last shell hit? His brows furrowed. No, I was bleeding out and being crushed under your body. I barely remember blinking. You said, she began slowly, that you'd conquer this planet for me. For one kiss. His heart stopped for a second. That sounds like something I'd say. She didn't smile. Her eyes were deadly serious. You said it under the vow zone. The what? There is a field, a psychic membrane over the crater. We call it the oath ring when certain words are spoken within it. If they're spoken with intent, they become law. Riker laughed again. I wasn't being serious. Her hand shot out, gripped his forearm. Intent isn't judged by what you meant human. It's judged by what you felt. Her eyes were fierce, and you felt it. I was dying. Exactly, she whispered. In our culture, deathbed vows are the strongest kind, because the soul no longer lies when it's that close to parting. Rykard blinked. You're saying I accidentally married you? Not married, she said softly. Bound. To what exactly? Ilara's breath caught. If one dies, the other becomes widow. And what happens to the widow? She swallowed. By law, the widow becomes unclean exiled, shunned, disavowed by their clan and family. He stared at her, stunned. You're kidding. I have never kidded in my life. His heart began to race. The monitor beside him beeped faster. Okay, look, I didn't know any of that. Can't we just undo it? There is no undoing, she said. There is only denial. But if we deny it, the punishment is shared. Trial, torture, death. He looked at her like she was insane. Your culture's messed up. Agreed, she said instantly. So what now? I need to ask you something, she said slowly, and I need you to answer with your blood. He blinked. That sounds deeply uncomfortable. She pressed something into his hand, a small stone needle. The tip glowed faintly. This is the bond stone, she said. If you touch it to your skin while thinking the same words you said before, your vow, it will confirm the union. It will protect us both, and no one can challenge it afterward. What happens if I don't? Then we are both fugitives, she said. The purifiers will come. My own clan will denounce me. And your people, they'll see you as compromised. So either I confirm I'm life bonded to a sniper, who's probably killed dozens of my kind, or we die hunted. Yes. He looked at the stone. You know this is all insane, right? She nodded. You don't even like me. I saved you. You said it was to repay a debt. She hesitated. It was, she whispered. At first. He looked at her. Really looked. Her hair was dim now. Faint blue strands floating around her face like embers on a breeze. Her eyes, silver and sharp, were exhausted. But beneath it all, there was something else. She was scared. Not of death, of rejection. I didn't mean it, Rickard said. Her face fell. I didn't mean I'd conquer this planet for one kiss, he continued. I would have done it for free. Her head snapped toward him. Rickard smirked, then touched the needle to his skin. It bit with fire. Light surged up his arm, red first, then violet, then deep cobalt that pulsed once, twice, and faded. Elara gasped. She clutched her ribs like something in her chest had cracked open, and then her hair lit like wildfire. Brilliant blue, alive and burning. It's done, she whispered. I feel weird, Rickard said. Like I can hear something that's not a sound. That's the bond, she murmured. You'll adjust. I can feel you, he said. Like your breath is in my chest. She nodded. You feel me? Yes, loudly. Sorry. It's not unpleasant. They sat like that for a while, and then the door burst open. A group of warriors, her people, stormed in. Weapons drawn, armor gleaming with clan runes. Elara stepped in front of Rickard, rifle already raised. Where she pulled it from, he had no idea. He is mine, she growled in her native tongue. One of the warriors hesitated. The bond is confirmed? By blood. They lowered their weapons. The one in front, an older female with half her scalp marked in scar tattoos, stepped forward. You've defied protocol, brought an enemy to our stronghold, taken the vow without council blessing. I'll take whatever punishment is required, Elara said, but he is not to be harmed. The warrior turned to Rickard. Do you understand what you have done? Not in the slightest, he said. That actually made her smirk. Then you're braver than most, she said. Come, the council will decide your fate. Wonderful, Rickard said. Always wanted to be judged by aliens I've never met. Elara extended a hand to him. He took it. Their bond pulsed between them, warm, electric, undeniable. He didn't know what came next. Didn't know if his own people would brand him a traitor. Didn't know if hers would see him as a joke. But he knew one thing for certain. He'd rather face the fire with her than survive alone. The council chamber was carved into the mountain itself, a cathedral of black stone and glowing veins of violet ore. The air shimmered with tension, like the walls themselves were listening. 7 elders sat in crescent formation, cloaked, ancient, still as statues, representing centuries of clan law, blood feuds, and unbending custom. In the center stood Rickard and Elara, shoulder to shoulder beneath the cold starlight shafting in through a crystalline dome above. It should have been silent, but Rickard could feel it, Elara's heart stammering behind her ribs. The bond was growing stronger. He no longer needed to see her expression to know how she felt. Her tension curled through his chest like smoke, threading into his own bloodstream, making him clench his fists just to stay steady. An elder leaned forward, male, pale-skinned, with one artificial eye that glowed amber. You are Rickard Hale of Earth Command? The elder asked in perfect English, cold and clipped. I am, Rickard answered. You entered our sacred field. You spoke a vow of blood and conquest, witnessed by a clan sniper. You confirmed this vow by offering your blood to the stone. Are these things true? Yes. You did this with full understanding of the consequences? Rickard hesitated. No. The chamber stirred. One of the elders shifted, their glowing headpiece pulsing. Another hissed something in their tongue. I didn't understand your customs, Rickard said louder. Didn't know what I said would be taken as law, but I meant it, every word, and I chose to confirm it anyway. Elara's hand tightened in his. You mock our sacred rite with jokes? a female elder hissed. He nearly died saving me, Alara said sharply, stepping forward. When he could have left me to bleed, he bandaged my wounds with a broken arm, dragged himself through fire for a woman he should have killed. I've fought 20 years for this clan and have never seen such honor, not from any of you. Watch your tone, the elder warned. No, Alara snapped. Watch yours, because I've spilled blood under your banner, and I will not let you shame the one person who treated me like more than a weapon. Silence, heavy, absolute. Then the amber-eyed elder leaned back. The bond is confirmed, lawfully sealed. We cannot break it, Ricard exhaled. But, the elder added, it is not embraced. The council does not recognize this union as honorable, and our enemies do not recognize it as binding. The purifiers are coming. Alara froze. Ricard felt it like an icicle in his gut. Purifiers? He asked. Those the ones with the red armor? They execute anyone who breaks sacred law, Alara whispered, including those who crossbreed or bond with offworlders. And they don't ask questions. They don't need to. A deep, vibrating alarm boomed through the walls. Too late, one elder said. They are already here. The chamber doors burst open, and for a moment, time stood still. 6 figures stepped through, tall, armored, helmets glowing with red sigils that moved like smoke. Their rifles were drawn, aimed. Alara of Clan Vey and Ricard Hale, the lead purifier boomed, you are hereby sentenced to death for unlawful interspecies bonding. The council made no move. Ricard felt the shift instantly. They weren't going to protect them. The bond between him and Alara pulsed once, twice, like a drumbeat of dread. And then she moved. Before the purifiers could fire, she leapt, fast as a plasma bolt, pulling Ricard behind one of the stone pillars. The first blast scorched the floor where he'd stood a second earlier. Energy pulses slammed into the walls, shattering centuries-old carvings. Dust filled the air. Ricard rolled behind cover, gasping, disoriented. We have to run, she said, reloading something into her old rifle. They won't stop until they burn us both. No, he growled. We stand. You won't face them alone. She turned to him. This isn't bravery. It's suicide. Then we die together. No, she hissed. That's not what the vow is for. Another blast ripped through the air. The wall beside them exploded, raining stone. Ricard's leg buckled. Shrapnel. Again. He screamed but didn't fall. Alara caught him. Cover me, she said. 10 seconds. He nodded, lifted her sidearm with trembling fingers, and opened fire blindly toward the corridor. One purifier went down. 9 seconds. Alara vanished into smoke, reappearing behind another enemy. She moved like light in vengeance. Her hair flared, pulsing with every shot. Blue fire blazing, too bright. The purifiers were fast, but she was faster. And then one turned, aiming at Ricard's chest. He couldn't move in time. Alara saw it first. She didn't hesitate. She threw herself between him and the blast, took it to the back. Her scream pierced through him like a knife in the soul. She collapsed into him. Ricard caught her as she fell, her armor smoldering, breath shallow. Her hair still glowed. Barely. I'm okay, she whispered. Just winged me. He pressed his hand to her back. No, Ricard said. It was a mistake, but it turned into something real. We didn't choose each other because it was easy. We chose each other because it mattered. Silence held. Then Tarek looked down at Alara, then at Ricard. Get her out of here, he said, before I change my mind. Ricard didn't wait. He lifted Alara in his arms, bleeding, broken, still breathing, and staggered toward the exit. Behind them, the council chamber smoldered. Above them, the world turned. But in his arms, he carried the one thing still warm, still alive, still his. And the bond between them burned brighter than her hair ever had. The tribunal was held in the neutral zone, deep in the ruins of an old alien observatory, a circular chamber with cracked glass walls, shattered domes, and statues of forgotten gods watching from the dark. Outside, the wind howled through twisted metal, carrying ash from a battlefield still burning across the horizon. Inside, everything was too quiet. Rykard stood in the center of the circle. Elara sat beside him, wrapped in bandages, leaning slightly but defiant as ever. Her white hair was dimmed, controlled, though stray strands still shimmered when emotion leaked through. Her breathing was uneven, but she refused the medical mask. If she was going to be judged, it would be on her feet. Opposite them, the tribunal had assembled. 3 human generals, 2 alien elders, and 1 neutral arbiter from the coalition. Cameras hovered like vultures. Every second was being broadcast to billions. Alara's people demanded her execution for violating the sanctity of their blood rights. Rykard's command accused him of fraternizing with an enemy, jeopardizing mission integrity and emotional compromise. Neither side asked why they saved each other. Only how. Only what it cost. The arbiter raised a gloved hand. We are here to determine the fate of Alara Vey of Clan Vey and Sergeant Rykard Hale of Earth Command. Both stand accused of high treason, cultural transgression, and unauthorized interspecies bonding. Alara's mouth was tight. She didn't flinch. Rykard took her hand. The bond pulsed between them, quiet, steady, strong. The human general spoke first, a woman with frost on her voice. Sergeant Hale, explain why you knowingly participated in a ritual that creates permanent psychic connection to an enemy combatant. I didn't know what I was doing, Rykard said, but I meant it. You meant? I meant every word. I meant the promise. I meant the risk. And I meant to survive with her, not die with my rifle aimed at someone bleeding in the dirt. Murmurs echoed through the chamber. The alien elder leaned forward. His hair was silver fire. Your words held no understanding. How can they be sacred? Because they were said with truth, Alara replied before Rykard could. And your laws, old as they are, honor truth above all. You forget your place, the elder snapped. I found a new one, she said. The human general stood. Even if the bond is legal, it's dangerous. The psychic link allows emotions, memories, perhaps even classified information to pass between them. It's a security threat. No, Rykard said. It's the solution. Explain, the arbiter said. He glanced at Alara. Her eyes met his, fear behind her calm. He stepped forward, pain blooming in every injured muscle. You want the truth? I was raised to kill anything that didn't look like me. I was trained to put bullets through people like her because I was told they'd do the same. And then I saw her, bleeding, alone, crawling toward a weapon to die fighting. And I realized I'd rather die trying to save her than live another minute thinking my orders made me a good man. He turned toward the human side. You think she's the enemy because she fought us. So did I. So did all of you. But what if she's not the enemy anymore? He faced the aliens. You say I polluted her honor. But you didn't see her in that crater. You didn't see her cover my body with hers while shells rained down. You didn't see her call fire on her own people to save my life. He paused. I didn't fall in love with an alien. I fell in love with the only person willing to die for me, even after I should have been her target. Silence. Heavy. Absolute. Alara squeezed his hand, then stood. She swayed. He moved to steady her. She didn't let him. I was Wind Clan's best sniper, she said, her voice even. 17 confirmed kills. 2 human ships downed. I followed every rule, every code. I was a weapon. She looked to the tribunal. And then I met a man who offered kindness with no reason, who bled just to stop my bleeding, who gave me his last seal even while dying. Her eyes brightened. Her hair began to glow. I did not choose him out of weakness. I chose him because for the first time, I wanted to live. Not for my people. Not for victory. Just live. She stepped beside Rykard, shoulders back, trembling. If you wish to kill me for that, then do it. But do it knowing I will not be the last to choose peace." And then she kissed him, in front of cameras, in front of both armies, in front of all their laws. It wasn't gentle, it was defiant, furious, devoted. Her hair blazed into blue fire, and across millions of screens a war paused to witness it. The human general stood. "That's a violation of decorum." "Sit down," the arbiter snapped. "All of you." The room fell still. The arbiter looked between the lovers. "What you've done," she said, "breaks every law and every expectation." She turned to the others. "But it proves something both sides have forgotten. That connection can be stronger than blood, stronger than duty, that enemies can become something else." She faced the camera drone. "By the authority granted to me by the Coalition Treaty of Oaths, I declare the bond of Rykard Hale and Alara Vey recognized." The room erupted. Gasps, cheers, outrage. Alara's legs buckled. Rykard caught her. "I told you we'd survive this," he whispered. "Shut up," she said, but her voice was cracked with laughter and tears. They didn't walk out of the tribunal. They were escorted, under full guard, through cheering crowds and furious mobs. Soldiers on both sides watched them pass like living myth, symbols, but behind the eyes and titles and laws, they were still just two people who shouldn't have met, who had no reason to trust, no chance to win, and still chose each other. Now the war would either end or devour them both, but they'd go down together, hand in hand, bonded in fire. They gave them a room with no windows. Neutral ground, they called it. A bunker half buried beneath the ruined city, with thick gray walls and soft lighting, meant to calm the mind. There were no guards inside, but Rykard knew they watched. The cameras blinked like quiet witnesses in every corner, recording every glance, every word, every breath. He sat on the edge of the bed, ribs still wrapped, legs still braced, but alive. Alara stood by the far wall, arms crossed, hair drifting faintly around her like a curtain of mist. Since the tribunal, she'd spoken little. Her silence wasn't cold, it was heavy, like she didn't want to shatter whatever fragile future had been handed to them. "They've labeled us peace envoys," Rykard said finally. Alara didn't turn. "They want us to speak to both sides, tell our story, sit in rooms where people scream old hatred and convince them to try something else." Her voice came soft, distant. "Symbols are easier to shape than truth." He pushed up, limping toward her. "We're not symbols. We are now." She turned. Her eyes found his. "I don't want to be a symbol," she whispered. He touched her hand. "Then don't be." She stepped into him. "I just want to be yours, without the world watching, without war." He kissed her. Gentle, slow, not like the ones before. This one wasn't about desperation. It wasn't about proving anything. It was about presence, quiet, real. When they broke apart, her hair was glowing again. Not fire, just a soft halo of light. "Do you feel it?" she asked. He nodded. "Always." The bond thrummed beneath his skin like a second heartbeat. When she hurt, he felt it. When he feared, she knew. And when they touched, when her fingers brushed his jaw, his chest, the curve of his neck, it was like holding warmth from a star that never burned. The next day, the first council met. A mixed panel of alien elders and human generals sat across from them in a circular chamber. Maps glowed on the walls, territories, casualty graphs, borderline war plans. A young diplomat, barely 20, stood to speak. "My sister died in the siege of Tyrian Ridge," she said to Alara. "You led that strike, didn't you?" Alara didn't flinch. "Yes. She was a medic, not a soldier. She never held a weapon." "I know." "Then why did you—" Alara looked down, then up, straight into the girl's eyes. "I didn't know her. I only knew coordinates, a voice in my comm, and orders that said every heartbeat inside those walls was an enemy." Her voice didn't shake. But I remember that day. The wind was quiet, the rain fell sideways, and after I pulled the trigger, the silence felt different. I didn't know her name until now, but I remember her absence. Tears ran down the diplomat's face. Elara stepped forward. "I'm sorry." The room held its breath. And in that moment, something small shifted. They moved on, slowly, painfully. The first ceasefire lasted a week, then another, then another. Not everywhere, but in places that mattered. Every morning, Rykard and Elara woke to briefings and threats and whispered rumors that the purifiers still hunted them, that their bond was unnatural, that peace based on a kiss was doomed to fail. But every night they held each other in silence and felt the bond speak the only truth they trusted. Still here, still fighting. A year passed, then another, and the war began to slow. Peace didn't bloom, it bled out, one battlefield at a time. Elara taught alien commanders how to negotiate without demanding surrender. Rykard trained human soldiers to speak without shouting. They sat in meetings where no one wanted them. They walked into ambush zones with nothing but words. And when bullets flew again, they shielded each other with their bodies. Again. Every time the world remembered, they were still willing to die for each other. And somehow that was enough. Then one morning the skies broke open. News rippled across both sides. An outpost near the border, neutral, peaceful, had been bombed. 300 dead, a human captain and an alien teacher among them, who'd just spoken a new vow the day before. An echo of Rykard and Elara. The headlines screamed betrayal. Extremists, rogue factions, denials, the fragile peace fractured like glass under a fist. And the council turned to them. "If you can't fix this," the arbiter said, "we're going back to war." They didn't argue. They packed their bags. They flew straight into the dust and grief and smoke. They walked through the ruins side by side, past bodies still being counted, past mothers who screamed at Elara's face, past soldiers who spat in Rykard's path. They listened. They didn't justify. And when the anger turned inward, they stood before the crowd in the shattered square. Rykard spoke first. "I don't blame you for hating us," he said. "Hate is easy. I spent years feeding on it." Elara did too. He looked at her, then back. "But if we go back to war, these graves won't be the last. You all know that." He paused, then stepped aside, and Elara stepped forward. "My people taught me silence was strength," she said. "That pain was weakness. That vengeance was duty." She reached for Rykard's hand. He took it. "But I learned something else from him. That strength is admitting you're broken. That peace begins where hate ends. That love, even between enemies, isn't a betrayal." She looked around. "It's the only reason any of us are still alive." Someone clapped. Just one, then another. Just two people who should never have met and built peace out of a promise neither understood when it was made. That night, as they lay in their quiet home, Rykard whispered into the dark, "Was it worth it?" Elara's voice came soft against his chest. "Yes." He closed his eyes, and for the first time in years, slept without fear. End of story.